Last night, Vic stood alone on the 44th floor balcony. The board wanted a full restructuring by morning. Names, roles, cuts, decisions. But the real shock came from his own whisper into the night.
If every role must match its nature, then what about mine?
His old warrior identity suddenly felt like someone else's skin. The city below flickered like a restless mind, and for the first time, Vic wasn't afraid of the noise. He was afraid of the silence inside him. He opened his retreat notebook, the same pages that held fire and surrender, and wrote one trembling line. What is the action that is truly mine? And centuries earlier, Arjuna stood with the same ache in his chest. What is action? What binds? What frees? Krishna smiled, because now Arjuna was ready for the deepest mystery of Chapter 4. Why action never stains the one who performs it. How the ancient masters acted without fear. Why even wise people confuse action and inaction. Tonight, Vic walks into that same teaching. He closed his eyes. Inside, two voices moved.
Be the old warrior. Fix everything. Take control. No. Act without becoming the one who claims the action.
Vic inhaled slowly, and something subtle shifted. Not a plan, not a strategy, but space. A new kind of leadership was quietly beginning inside him. Welcome to episode 45 of Beyond the Battlefield. Tonight, we step into the verses where Krishna reveals the architecture of karma, and Vic faces the architecture of his own becoming. Let's begin. Ankur. When Vic wrote that one question, what is the action that is truly mine? It felt like he stepped right into the center of the Gita. Because this is exactly where Krishna begins verse 14, isn't it?
Absolutely. Verse 14 is surgical. It cuts right into the illusion behind all our stress and confusion. Let's open this slowly. Because Krishna is not just describing himself. He's describing a state every human being can reach. He says,
Action doesn't stain me. I have no desire for the results. The one who understands this is never bound by action.
There are three layers to this. One, karma doesn't create the doer. Ego does. Walking happens, but there is no walker inside. Thinking happens, but there is no thinker sitting in your chest. Feeling happens, but you are not the feeling. You are the witness. Krishna is free because he performs action without constructing a little I behind it. We, on the other hand, even when doing nothing, say, I'm not doing anything. We create a doer of inaction. 2. Desire is the glue that binds action to suffering. Krishna says, I have no desire for the fruit. Desire is what makes action heavy. The moment craving enters, action becomes a cage. In the modern world, it sounds like, will this make me look good? Will this get me promoted? Will this secure my position? The work is not heavy. The self attached to the work is heavy. Action plus ego equals bondage. Action plus clarity equals freedom. 3. The divine acts like space, present in everything, touched by nothing. Clouds pass through the sky, but the sky never becomes cloudy. Waves rise in the ocean, but the ocean is not exhausted. Fire burns wood, but fire is not burned. Similarly, action happens in consciousness, but consciousness remains stainless. Space holds everything, but nothing sticks to space. Krishna speaks from that infinite center. Action flows, but no residue remains. Action is never the problem. Ownership is the action of a doer binds. Action from the witness liberates. This is Krishna's promise. Whoever knows me like this is never bound by karma.
So if Vic redesigns the entire division from ego, I will fix this. I will save the company. He becomes bound. But if he lets the right action flow through him without clinging to the role of the fixer, he becomes free.
Krishna isn't saying don't act. He is saying act fully without becoming the one who claims the action. That's akarta, non-doership. The cyclone moves, but the center remains still.
Vic walked back into the empty conference room. A single lamp lit the long table. His notebook lay open. He whispered,
Let the right actions happen. Let me not interfere.
and for the first time since returning, the battlefield inside him softened, just enough for the night's real work to begin. Ankur. Verse 14 taught us how Krishna acts without becoming the doer. So what happens next? How does Krishna guide Arjuna into applying this?
Verse 15 is Krishna's bridge from his freedom to our possibility. Krishna is saying,
Knowing this truth, many ancient seekers acted and became free. Therefore, Arjun, you too must act. Act as the wise ones did.
Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not the first one to face this confusion. Those before you, the rishis, the wise ones, the ones thirsty for liberation, they also struggled, but they acted anyway. And action purified them. Not because action is special, but because right action done without ego becomes fire, a fire that burns ignorance. The ancient masters were not passive monks. They were warriors of consciousness. They acted fiercely, but from stillness. This is what Krishna is pointing to. Krishna says, follow the footsteps of those who walked before you. Meaning, don't wait for perfect clarity. Don't wait for all doubt to disappear. Don't wait for fear to end. Take the step, but take it without ego. The step will reveal the next step. The action will clean the lens. The movement will awaken the witness. This is how the wise acted, not from arrogance, but from transparency.
Vic stared at the blank whiteboard. For hours he'd been frozen, haunted by the fear of making a wrong move. But now, after verse 14's realization, a simple truth dawned. He didn't need to know the entire structure. He just needed to take the first step, consciously, without ego. He picked up the marker.
Start with alignment, not ambition.
He drew 4 circles, the 4 guna natures he'd seen the previous day. Sattva, vision and ethics. Rajas, leadership and decisions. Vaishya, value and partnerships. Tamas Rajas, execution and stability. Then, he quietly began placing names. Not based on titles, not based on politics, not based on what the board wanted, based on inner nature. He wasn't designing a structure. He was listening for what was natural. With every name he wrote, a strange calmness entered him. Not the old adrenaline of power, not the pleasure of, I'm fixing everything, but a quiet, grounded presence. It felt like the work was happening through him, not from him. And that was exactly what Krishna meant in verse 15. The ancient ones acted boldly because their action had no ego shadow. They felt, I am not performing the action. I am allowing the universe to move. Tonight, Vic was tasting the first drop of that freedom. Verse 15 teaches us something profound. You do not need perfect understanding to take the right step. You only need to take it without creating a doer. The rishis acted, the sages acted, the seekers acted. And by acting in the spirit of non-doership, they became free. Tonight, Vic joins that lineage. A modern leader walking the ancient path, one quiet step at a time. Ankur, verse 16 feels like a knot, a puzzle, a place where Krishna almost challenges the mind. Can we go into it slowly?
We have to. Because verse 16 is where Krishna exposes the root confusion that keeps all human beings stuck in suffering. Krishna says,
What is action? What is inaction? Even the wise are confused. But I will explain this to you, knowing which you will be freed from all misfortune.
Krishna is telling Arjuna, you don't even know what action really is. And he's right. Most of us don't. We confuse. Busyness for action, laziness for rest, fear for wisdom, silence for clarity, overthinking for decision making. Krishna says even the wise get this wrong. Kavyopi, even the kavis, the thinkers, the philosophers. This confusion has 3 layers. Let's walk through them. 1. Mistaken movement for action. Most people think movement equals action. Running around, responding to messages, taking calls, being overloaded, being urgently busy. This is not action, it is akram, inaction happening in the name of action. Many people don't work, they just move. Real action is born from clarity, not speed. 2. Mistaking stillness for inaction. If someone sits quietly, we think, why are you not doing anything? But that stillness itself can be the highest action. Inner realignment, purification, witnessing. Sometimes a silent man is doing more than 1,000 busy ones. 3. Mistaking avoidance for wisdom. Sometimes we say, I will not act, I will wait, I will let things settle. But inside, it's fear, it's conflict, it's confusion wearing the mask of maturity. Krishna calls this a wrong action, vikarma. So, action may be inaction. Inaction may be action. Avoidance may be the worst action. And this is why Krishna says, even the wise are confused. Krishna is inviting Arjuna and all of us to look inside and ask, is this action coming from clarity or from conditioning? If it is born from clarity, it liberates. If it is born from fear, desire, image, confusion, it binds. This is the architecture of karma.
The clock hit 1:37 a.m. Vic had mapped out the new division, aligned with nature instead of hierarchy. Sattva, Raya to architecture, Rajas, Karan to leadership, Vaishya, Mihir to partnerships, Tamas, Sanjay to operations. It looked true, honest, balanced. But now came the most painful part. 2 names that didn't fit anywhere. 2 people who had titles, but not the guna for those titles. And keeping them would rot the entire structure. Vic stared at their names. His chest tightened.
Don't do it. Don't shake things up. Keep the peace. Avoid the conflict. No. Avoidance is not peace. Avoidance is vikarma. Wrong action.
Vic exhaled slowly. His hand trembled, but he crossed out the two names. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of clarity. That moment right there was verse 16. He didn't act from fear. He didn't avoid action. He didn't rush into action. He acted from truth. That is karma. Everything else is just movement. And so, in the quiet of a glass tower at night, a leader took a decision that wasn't easy, but was true. Krishna's teaching is alive in every such moment. Action born from clarity liberates. Action born from confusion binds. Avoidance disguised as wisdom destroys. In verse 16, Krishna promises Arjuna, "Know this truth, and you will walk free of misfortune." Tonight, Vic took his first step on that path. By dawn, the city was still wrapped in blue-gray light, and Vic was the only one awake on the 23rd floor. The whiteboard stood completed. The new roles, the realignment, the hard decisions, the two names he had crossed out. He didn't feel triumphant. He didn't feel guilty. He felt clean. Like the action had moved through him, but didn't cling to him. Just before the board meeting, he whispered to himself,
You're not the warrior they remember, but maybe you're the leader they need now.
Inside the boardroom, the air was tense. Leaders sat upright, files open, eyes sharp. The chairwoman nodded.
Vic, you have the floor.
He stepped forward, clicked the remote. The screen lit up with his new structure, not hierarchical, but harmonic, designed around guna, not politics.
This is not a rearrangement. It's a realignment. People are placed where their nature actually shines.
A few eyebrows rose. The CFO leaned in. Ria, in the back, blinked in surprise. Then came the hardest slide. The two who didn't fit.
For these roles, nature and responsibility don't match. They will need to exit with dignity.
Silence. A long, heavy silence. Then the chairwoman nodded.
This is the first structure that makes sense in months.
And in that moment, Vic realized what verse 14 and 15 had done. He had acted fully, but without the tremble of ego. The board didn't see a warrior returning. They saw something rarer, a leader who acts, without needing to be the doer. Ankur, this was beautiful. Krishna's verses feel alive when you watch Vic's journey. Can we bring the three verses together into one simple understanding for listeners?
Yes, let's give them the essence. Verse 14. Action never binds you. The doer binds you. Verse 15. The wise before you also acted, not from fear, not from ego, and they became free. Verse 16. Action inaction, and wrong action are often confused. Only clarity reveals which is which. Together, these verses teach a leader. Stop carrying yourself through your work. Let action arise from clarity, not identity. Don't mistake busyness for karma. Don't mistake avoidance for maturity. Don't mistake silence for wisdom. And above all, watch the inner eye that tries to own the action. When that eye softens, action becomes lighter, decisions become cleaner, and leadership becomes a form of meditation.
So, in a sense, Vic didn't just restructure a team, he restructured himself.
Exactly. And that inner restructuring is the only one that ever truly lasts.
Tonight, we walked through 3 verses that hold the blueprint of all meaningful action. We watched Arjuna learn that the real warrior is the one who fights without ego. And we watched Vic discover that the real leader is the one who acts without fear and without the weight of I. If this episode opened a new corner of your mind or a quiet space in your heart, share it with someone walking through their own confusion. If you want to stay connected to the journey of becoming clearer, calmer, and more conscious, follow and subscribe so the next insight finds you right away. And if something inside you stirred, a question, a realization, a spark, write to us at beyondthebattlefield@outlook.en. We read every message. Your voice shapes the path ahead. And don't forget, the GPT companion link for this episode is waiting in the description. To explore deeper, reflect further, and extend this journey beyond the audio. Like, share, subscribe, and stay close to the witness within you. Until next time, may your actions be clear, your heart be light, and your inner battlefield finally grow quiet.